All right, so listen up. I've got something powerful coming up, and I need you to be in the room for this. I'm hosting a free live webinar called From Pain to Purpose: How to Heal What's Hidden so you can finally feel fulfilled. And if you've ever felt like success was silencing your soul, this is your wake-up call. In this live session, we're going to unpack why high achievers struggle with feeling stuck, how unhealed emotional wounds affect your relationships and identity, and how to finally reconnect with the strongest and truest version of you. This is not just another motivational moment. This is your turning point. So don't wait. Walk. I need you to run. Spots are going to be limited, and we're only doing this live. So make sure that you click the show notes in this episode and get registered, and I'll see you there on purpose. Hey family, welcome to Unmute Your Mic, the podcast where high achieving men and women come to finally get honest, drop the mask, and align with the life they were truly created to live. I'm your host, Coach Lauren J. And today we're diving into a topic I know will hit home for many of you. So today's topic is called The Hustle That Hides You. So let me ask you something. Now that we're about to just jump and dive right in. Have you ever been praised for how much you do, but deep down, you feel unseen for who you really are? If so, you're not alone. And so we're going to start at the top of the segment today. And I want to start in by talking about how success is really an emotional armor. So here's the thing that most people won't tell you. Success can be a mask. And for high achievers, it is often a mask. We've mastered the art of showing up. We hit the goals, we check the boxes, we grind, we lead. But somewhere along the way, the doing replaced the feeling. And so success became the armor that we wear. And to protect ourselves from what's really going on underneath, we mask. And listen, I get it because that was my story. I used achievement to get over the trauma I didn't want to face. And so this level of programming shaped me into a hyper-independent, I got it, I don't need your help woman. And it really affected my relationships, both personally and professionally. And so one of the things I always say to people is that trauma doesn't have a race, it has a trace. And when we start to trace it back, many of us were raised with these same silent rules. Be strong, don't cry, suck it up, handle it, especially if you were the responsible one. The fixer, the one everybody can lean on. You learned that feelings were inconvenience. And that strength meant silence. So what do? We replaced our feelings with achievements. And then we buried our emotions beneath productivity. But today, I want to break you out of that jail of feeling like you are not allowed to feel and that emotional suppression is the only way. Because it's so untrue. There are people in your life that are dying to support you. But let's just be honest. You won't allow them to. Oh, I know. It's hurting your feelings and you feeling like, how do you know me? Because we the same person. And I know what that is like to have people say, how can I help you? But because we're so accustomed to being the help, we don't know how to allow people to be a helper to us. And so we just naturally say this storyline that we've rehearsed so many times, and that is, oh, I got it. So let's talk about what's really hiding behind your hustle. So how do you know if you're hiding behind hustle? I think that's really the first thing we got to understand is how do we even know if hustle's a thing that we're really using to mask, distract us from having conversations or facing things that we really need to face. So I'm going to give you a few signs. I want you to lean into this because you're going to want to take notes, okay? If you're driving, don't take notes, just catch the replay. If you're sitting, baby, grab a notebook. So here are a few signs to know if you're hiding behind hustle. One, you feel guilty when you rest. Come on, somebody. How many times do you feel guilty when you're just taking a break and you don't allow yourself to rest and you say, my mind is always racing, right? And we feel bad about resting, which is so interesting because rest is honestly the way that we reset our nervous system. But because of our programming, we think that rest is for the weak. No, rest is also for the weary. Because some of us, if we're just honest, we are weary. We are tired. So rest is not just for the weak. It's also for the weary, right? And you can't have rest without restoration. So if you're wanting to be restored, again, restoration, restored, all start with the 4-letter word, rest. And then the second sign is you don't know how to just be without doing. Ooh, you a busybody. Every time we turn around, you got to be doing something. Listen, for those of you who are new to this podcast and new to my voice, I'm from Louisiana. And so from the South, we say a lot of different things. One of the things that my grandma used to say is, you need to sit down somewhere. Sit down. And she didn't say sit down. She said, sit down. The sitting and down just run together, okay? Sit down somewhere. You ever saw somebody who can't just sit down nowhere? Every time you turn around, they hopping up, they doing this. This is the people that are hiding behind hustle. They don't know how to just be. And then you're constantly busy, but you're emotionally disconnected. That's no different from people who are always hustling, but it's never productive. It's like telling somebody you have a business, but you make no money. How does that work? The math isn't giving math, okay? It's giving trauma. And so what we do is we stay busy so we don't have to deal with our emotions. Again, you telling people that you're okay is only suppressing the truth. And the body keeps score. Your nervous system knows that you're lying. A pair of lips will tell you anything. That's a quote from my best friend, Farron. She always says it. She always says, friend, a pair of lips will tell you anything. And baby, a pair of lips does. Every time they say, oh, how you doing? I'm good. It will tell you anything. But the body keeps score. And it knows that you're not really connected to the room like you should be. And then you keep saying, I'm fine when you're not. Now listen. Child, how many of y'all love to tell people you fine when the truth is you're not? It's almost like giving that, and men, I know y'all can really relate to this. You know when you texting your lady and you know that she probably mad, but she don't want to tell you, and so her words are very short, and then even her okay is not an okay, it's just K with the letter K, and that's it. That's all she giving you back. When people say I'm fine, to me that's equivalent to the K. Not okay. There's no other adjectives with the word. It's just the letter K. They hang it on by a thread, okay? And then, last but not least, you pour into everyone else, but your soul is running on E. You're empty. You're pouring. You're pouring. You're pouring. I talk about this in my first book, Purposeful Pain, Give Me Your Isaac. And I talk about how a lot of times we pour into cracked glasses and then we're mad when it can't quench our thirst. Have you ever gone to Sonic or got one of them styrofoam cups, okay, somebody, and you go to the store, you go to Sonic, and they had these great styrofoam cups that, it holds the ice together, it's giving chef's kiss, and you're so thirsty, and as soon as you get that cup, you hurry up and put that straw in there, and what happens when you poke down too far and you don't know it? And then you go to raise that cup up to your lips and to take the first sip, and my God, half the cup is falling out, and you go from excited to frantic because it's everywhere. It's all over your white pants. It's all over the car. It's about to be sticky. You mad because now you can't even enjoy it. You can't even drink out of it. Then you got to call the people back and tell them, hey, I need another cup. You may have to pay for the cup again because listen, these people are running a business. It's called cost of goods. Okay. It's costing them to give you that extra cup that you put a hole in. That's what happens when we pour into cracked glasses. When you pour into people that are cracked, all they will ever do is make a mess. And they will never have in them what they should have because they were leaking from the start. But here you are pouring into them, pouring into these relationships, pouring into these friendships that quite honestly cannot quench your thirst. And so we all know people like that. And if we're really honest, we are those people. And so we're pouring into cracked glasses, expecting a return on investment. And all you get is a mess that now you get to clean up. And yeah, even though that nice car hopper comes out and hands you that cup, it's still on you to clean up the mess. And so now, what are you doing with it? You're frustrated, you're irritated, you're mad because you done wasted on your pants and you had somewhere to go, but you was thirsty, so you just stopped in real quick. You were rushing. You're rushing. Be anxious for nothing is what the word of God says. Be anxious for nothing, meaning there's no need for you to rush. There's no need for you to hustle up. Hustling hinders growth. And so I want you to hear that in your spirit. Hustling hinders growth. And it robs you of the present moment. Time is a non-refundable investment. I'd rather you waste my money. I'd rather you waste maybe some of my energy, but please do not waste my time. It is a non-refundable investment. So I want you to really think about that and think about which one of these signs is your sign, because all of us have a sign. And all of this is really just called emotional avoidance dressed up as excellence. Emotional avoidance dressed up as excellence. And so here we go back to our childhood, trying to perform for love again, trying to get people to accept us again. Because our childhood told us that in order for mom and daddy to be proud of us, we had to be performing at a level that was acceptable to them. And so now we're living, quite honestly, this is how we live in the trauma of our ancestors, because now we're performing to live. That's what slaves did. Performed to live. Our mentality has to grow past that. Because if it doesn't, you're going to go from burnt out to broke down to dead. That's how this is going to go. And I don't want to see your life that way. We work too hard raising these kids, running these businesses, running these companies, to be running our whole lives on empty, on E. And please know, the people that see you running on E, they're okay with it. There are some people that love you running on E. You know why? Because you'll never leave them, because you're empty. You'll never leave them because you feel like you need them because you're not fulfilled. And they are capitalizing off of that. You don't realize it because you think you're helping. When the truth is you're not helping, you're hurting. And you're not hurting them. You're hurting you. So let's talk about what is this really costing you, because I don't want you out here thinking that it didn't cost me much to do this. It really didn't cost that much. No, because that's a lie. So here's the truth. What you don't reveal eventually leaks. And suppressing your emotions, ignoring your needs, hiding behind success will eventually cost you your peace, your relationships, and your health. This pattern, it does not end in more success. It ends in burnout and breakdown, not breakthrough. But today, my goal is to help you break through. I don't want you burnout, and I don't want you broken down. I want you to have breakthrough. And to really start changing your mindset around this, because the issue is your pattern. And it doesn't end the way you think it's going to end. And so listen, God did not create you to perform your way through life. God created you to heal, to feel, and to live fully. He wants you to have a fulfilled life. It was never his desire to see you burnt down, broke down, stressed, oppressed. Like, that wasn't God's design. Not for your life. It's what you signed up for. But today I want you to give your pink slip to hustle. Let it know we're not giving a 2-week notice, baby. I resigned from my position because you ain't treating me right, in the words of Fantasia. That's what I need you to say to hustle in this season of your life. Because right now, I'm going to tell you how and what's the first step you're going to need to do to step into the place of freedom, where you get to choose the life you live. Because again, time is a non-refundable investment. And if you want to make good on your investment, you got to invest well. So let's talk about what the first step is. Because I know you sitting there thinking, how do I put in my notice? Who do I need, to whom it may concern? Okay, so let's go here. First, you got to be honest. Being radically honest with yourself about how you're really doing. Not just how things look on paper. I want you to ask yourself. Here are 3 questions. I want you to self-reflect in this moment with me. I'm inviting you into a coaching session, okay? So you can self-reflect with me. Am I thriving or functioning? In your life right now, are you? Am I living or just surviving success? And then what's the version of me I show the world? And what part of me is hidden behind the grind? Because when you start telling yourself the truth, you unlock the power to change it. So if you can't be honest with you, then baby, who are you honest with? Because even if you say, I'm honest with God, well, being honest with God is being honest with you, because aren't y'all together when you tell him the truth? So who are you honest with? Because that truly matters. Honesty is liberating. Lying is bondage, just like blame. It locks you up. Some of you have been locked up for decades and years and years and years, all because of unforgiveness and all because of the lies you've told yourself. These people didn't even tell you these lies. You told yourself these lies and you bought them and you never returned it back to the sender or even checked. Like, hey, did you just give me this in my bag? You just picking up the bag and rolling it out. But today I want you to bring that bag back. And so we're going to do the work because, listen, coaching is all about moving forward. It's one of the reasons why I love being a coach, is because it's all about moving forward. And doing the work. So let's do the work together. Because, as a coach, we are on the side of you. I'm not ahead of you. I'm not behind you. I'm like the rib. I'm on the side of you, darling. Okay. Cheering you on. And so this is what I want you to know. That this is not about giving up your ambition. Because I know some of you right now are like, I can't stop. I got all this to do. I got these bills. I got these kids. I got this. Listen, one of my very good friends said this to me a couple of months ago. We were talking and I was telling him, what was on my to-do list for the day. Because he'll say to me like, well, sis, what you got on the list? What you got going? And I said to him, well, this is what I got. This is what I got to do today. I got to do this. I got to do that. And he said, let's pause right there. It's not I got to do, it's I get to do. Let me tell y'all how that freed my spirit. Shout out to my friend Antonio Rutledge. That freed my spirit. And this way you got to have good people around you who can check you in love. Because when we say I got to do, it sounds like you're a slave to the task. When I say I get to do, that translates to my mind. I'm in a position to serve something that I want to serve. I'm allowed to serve. I get to spend time with my children. I get to take them to school. I get to stop in the middle of the day to show up for something that they have. Because if I had a full-time 9 to 5, that may not be the same outcome. So I'm grateful for what I get to do. And so if you're one of those people that say, I gotta, that sounds like you have a lot of demands, but not a lot of serving. I don't want to be demanded to do anything. I want to serve it and be excited about the experience. Because again, time is a non-refundable investment. And where are you placing your time? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I don't want my energy wasted on a cracked glass that can't hold water. It's going to make a mess. And it's going to create more work for me. So I want you to give yourself permission to do these things right here. I'm going to give you 3 things that I need you to give yourself permission to do. I want you to give yourself permission to heal. If you're listening to this podcast, if someone sent this to you, it's because they realize that you are on a journey to personally grow and develop into the best version of yourself. And before you can be that person, you've got to be able to give yourself permission to say, I'm going to heal from this thing. This hurt will not be my prison. I'm going to use this hurt to become my purpose. To feel, you are a human being. And I want to say this specifically to the men that are listening. Women, we feel stuff all the time. Most of our decisions are based on how we felt. And before you start trying to argue with me about it, pay attention to how many times today when you explain yourself, you use the word I felt or I feel. We are in our emotions all the time. Men are not. So men, let me speak directly to you as a woman. It is okay for you to have feelings. It is okay for you to be upset. It is okay for you to be sad. It is okay for you to feel excitement. It is okay for you to be proud of yourself. It is okay for you to have feelings. Because even Jesus had feelings. Even Jesus had feelings. Let's roll the Bible real quick. For those of you who don't know, I'm a PK. For y'all like, what's a PK? A preacher's kid. I grew up in the church. So let's go back to the story of Lazarus. Lazarus died, right? His family was all said, God, me, why, if you would have been here, our brother wouldn't have died. They were checking Jesus and stuff when he get into the door, and he weeps. He wept. Jesus wept, even though he knew he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead. He knew. He wasn't in shock. He knew exactly what the mission was. He knew he was going to raise him, but yet and still he wept. Why? Because he wanted us to know that in this human flesh body, it is okay to weep sometimes. It's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to feel the emotion of overwhelm sometimes. But what it is not okay to do is to make damaging decisions from your feelings. Because no matter how he felt, he still performed the miracle. He didn't get off his square. He still did the work. So men, I want you to know that if you are in a relationship with a partner, with a woman who is not emotionally safe, and how do we know when a partner's not emotionally safe? They will do guilt, blame, or shame. If they provide you any one of those three, then that may not be the place for you. But that does not mean you don't have a place. You have a place. And if you don't have any other place to feel safe, to feel seen, to drop this mask of pretending that you're a superhero when really you're just a superman, meaning you're a great man, meaning you're a great woman. God never asked you to be perfect, but he did ask you to grow, progress. Stop being who you were last week. Get 1% better each day. That should be your daily goal. And I really wanted to make sure I really double tapped on this because, again, I feel like a lot of times as high achievers, people forget that we're human. They forget that we have feelings because they see how we just move on to the next thing and how nothing really gets us off our square. But they don't know how many times we cried, how many times we thought we were going to lose everything, how many times we were losing everything, how many times we had nothing, but we still gave to people who had nothing. They have no idea how hard it is to be this person. At all. That's why they're always asking you for more crap while giving you nothing back. But in this season, we don't get fired from that job. If you listen to this podcast, you will be getting fired. Pink slip yourself. Matter of fact, baby, listen, go to the store, buy you some pink sticky notes. And that's all. And every time you want to get fired from something, put it on that pink sticky note. So that way you are reminded that, baby, you're fired. Fired. Get somebody else to do it. Join the Get Somebody Else to Do It ministries. We're always open and we're always accepting new people. I am the president and founder and CEO of Get Somebody Else to Do It ministries. And we welcome you in. I want this podcast to be your space to feel human, to feel seen, but most importantly, to unmute your mic. And finally speak from your soul, not your script. Because many of us have been speaking from scripts. So if this episode has been speaking to your soul, if it has stirred something up in you, then I want you have to, you'll get to, how about that? So thank you for rocking with me on this first episode of Unmute Your Mic. If this hit home, do me a favor, leave a review. I won't know if it hit home if you don't tell me, okay? You got to communicate, okay? So make sure you leave me a review, share this with a friend, and make sure you are subscribed so that you never miss an episode. And remember, you were never meant to hustle for healing. You were made to heal and win. So let's keep doing this work together. And I'll see you next week on Unmute Your Mic podcast. Peace.